Have you seen the latest Japanese volume cover? It's simple, but pretty damn effective. I like it. While it's only a matter of time before everything goes straight to hell, the series can hold off the action aspect for a bit longer, and yet maintain the sheer quality with its suspense. This chapter is no exception. One of the found elements of the series is suspense, and it was well executed here, with the intensity of a man's will for vengeance, and the amount of twists and turns that had me gasping. All those info, big or small, that have been scattered for past couple of chapters are all coming together. The beginning culminates everything that has happened involving with Eren, and establishes his faction name. It was funny for Survey Corps to call them bastards at first, but even for them, it was uncomfortable. Instead, they will refer to them as anti-survey, which is the easiest name calling, so I expect their symbols to be upside down from its counterpart. But really, they are better known as Jaeger Faction. Simple but easy to call apart. Hanji elaborates the detail of the faction's highly likely agenda. Based on their collected sources, she believes they intended to reunite Eren and Zeke. They also want to present themselves as rising power, and killing Darius off was their sign. They sure made a hell of a point, I'll give them that. The seed of a faction grew when the military began to kill time with no progress in sight. Granted, there were some, but patience is key, and they had none. The final nail to the coffin is the call to replace Eren's founding titan. It makes sense on why Yelena treated him like God. They don't want a replacement. What they have now is their only hope. This has gotten messy for everyone involved. The faction is basically Survey Corps 2.0. 100 members or possibly more are part of it. I don't know if Hanji should really take the punishment for something that is more of everyone's fault, but since she does accept it, I guess I have to go with it. She seemed to hint her endgame development to be retirement, but we'll see if she survives first. Rogue is still a douchebag for pressuring her and saying nonsensical words about turning into a titan out of nowhere. It may be panic talk, but he's still a prick to belittling her further. Before everything goes south there, Commander Pixis breaks the sourness and takes command from there. I have to say, he's one of the few higher-ups that I really like, and this chapter serves him well. He's the only one there with a cool head. No pun intended? And get the course back in order. Even after the tragic event, he remains in control and get the plan moving ahead to protect and secure every possible location for Eren to stop by, including Historia's. Army says that he's next in line to take the corps' control. I'm perfectly fine with that. So what's the plan? To surrender to Eren. Hilarious how Pixis says it with a straight face, yet have everyone shocked and depressed. He had them a bit hopeful earlier, but saying they have been defeated, kill every piece of it. Hell, he already surrendered the military earlier, so he's fine. This upset one person because it will mean Darius' death will go unresolved. It's like never getting your revenge. You will always feel defeated. Pixis does make a point though. He did begin his reign from the revolution, so to die by it is a poetic send-off. I mean, he did die from his own art as well, so the more the merrier. The part that increased my respect towards Pixis is how he will handle this mess from this point forward. As comical it sounds of him to plan to surrender to Eren, he's not going to submit. His agenda is to negotiate with the faction by surrendering themselves and learn their demands. Otherwise, well, civil war, here we come. Where's that meme? As for Darius' death, he wants to keep it a low profile. Even if it does mean ignoring his death, it's a small price to pay to protect thousands. That's a difficult task for a soldier, so I applaud him for taking this approach. He got the course motivated, a fine start for him. Mikasa shines nicely in this chapter. I know fans tend to associate her with Eren this, Eren that, but when it comes to outside of it, she does shine nicely as a character. Case in point, her chat with Kiyomi. After Pixis warned Kiyomi that her safety may be in jeopardy once the fighting begins, she approached to Mikasa like she's her mother. Despite having a home for Mikasa to return to, she was born and raised in Paradise Island, so she's going to stay and fight. The best part is when she calls Kiyomi out on her actual reason to pray for Paradise Island, and it all boils down to finance. Man, does that feel so good to expose her BS. It is funny how her characteristics resembles an anime character with the comical reaction like sweating bullets or drooling over money, yet remain in a serious nature. At the very least, she does admit that finance does rely on Rumbly, and if that fails, they are done. I guess you could say the clan has become a greedy one. It's no worse than the folks that worship Meowth from Pokemon and seek for payday. Hell, if only Meowth does exist in Paradise Island, let alone us in the real world. But let's get back to reality. The only part that remains questionable is despite her admitting to her true reliance, she didn't lose her pride and respect Mikasa's mother's wishes. Therefore, she will protect her. Perhaps it is true that she wants Mikasa to return home. Maybe it is the only truthful part of her. Throughout the corpse discussion, there's this iffy feeling that she may know something is coming and she's not saying. Certain panels emphasize her expression to say she's hiding something. Maybe it is nothing, but after the chapter was done, I'm not so sure. Although Hanji has been mentally wrecked for a while, she does keep up with the situation and has a good hunch on the faction's motive. Even if they were to tell everyone about the true plan, Survey Corps wouldn't keep them at peace. She and others have to expose Zeke's scheme before it gets worse. It's her theory, but it's pretty damn believable. Their first stop is restaurants, since it is Marlene's work environment that Yelena protected it. The rest of the chapter focuses on one restaurant, but it's easily the best part, as it is riveting, engaging, and emotional. Mr. Bros and the family attend the restaurant where Niccolo is working at. I'm happy that the promise was being settled here, so it leaves a good feel impression. Gabi is there looking part of the family already. Almost looked like Kaguya from rom-com series if you ask me. Everyone is smiling and laughing like peaceful times. Everything feels charming, even if we knew the story behind it. Kaya recaps the story between Niccolo and the Bros family. It all stemmed from the loss of Sasha. Gabi and Falco now knows Niccolo is a Marlin. But what they gloss over big time is Sasha was the one Gabi killed. Instead, they were shocked that Niccolo and Sasha was a couple. If that was true, that just made me think Isayama is a bit of an asshole. Joking aside, oddly enough, it's funny how Gabi is stunned to believe Eldian and Marlene can mate, as it shouldn't happen. Because reason. Isayama and his humor strikes again when Falco was onto something, suggesting something bad is happening. But in reality, it's the food that compels him. It's time for Shokugeki no Kyojin, as everyone is having a foodgasm. Kyojin. I don't know, that sounds odd, but then again, so does Eren. Anyway, it's amusing to say the least. Then it gets awkward when the servant corps arrive. Everything seemed fine in the beginning. Niccolo cooperates with them without resistance, having a room for them to sit, how kind of him, and things are looking pleasant. That is until Jean wants to zip on the wine that only higher-ups can drink. Niccolo snatches it rapidly like it was his prized possession. Like, precious, let go of my precious. He even resorts to racism to push Jean away from the wine. Damn, he really loves that wine, doesn't he? A while ago, I was theorizing about the possibility of the wine to be poison or something. It faded out. But this moment brought it back, and the possibility has gone through the roof. Falco and Gabi fake their reason to go to the bathroom and follow Niccolo. This is where it gets seriously intense. I always thought someday Gabi as Sasha's killer will play a role somewhere, and this is the time. To be honest, I didn't expect it to play it here, but Isayama is clever at setting up the stage. Gabi feels assured to speak to another Marlin and explain her story of how she got into the island. Long story short, she was in prison after killing a few Survey Corps. This sparks a huge curiosity from Niccolo. Once he asks her about a female soldier, I begin to shake with fear. When she gleefully responded it, yes, shit is about to hit the fan really bad. All the good feelings died the moment Niccolo learns who killed her beloved Sasha. All it was missing was a suspenseful soundtrack to absorb your attention even deeper for what is about to happen. I like to use the Dark Knight track, Why So Serious? Mainly the beginning. Niccolo lost his cool and aimed to kill Gabi with the same wine he was protecting. Falco comes to save her. But damn, that was a bad blow to the head. Niccolo didn't mind too much because he is filled with rage. It doesn't stop there. He brings them to the family's table to perform an act. The title? Revenge. The intensity keeps on growing with the entire family now knows who killed Sasha. I thought Gabi was only tossed away, but she got punched hard in the face. Her nose is broken, and she looked dazed like she's about to collapse. I don't know if the fans still hate her, so take it as a reward or sympathy. Honestly, I find it difficult to take a side. I know killing another is morally incorrect, but after Niccolo's testimony, it's hard to object. This whole settlement should have been easy, but the whole conflict is difficult. Niccolo may want revenge, but he was kind, I guess, to hand over the opportunity to Mr. Bros. Not even a son-in-law, yet he acts like one. Survey Corps invade, but he has Falco as his hostage. All he wants is to pay back Sasha, put a closure to her death. Isayama is great at timing the chapter's theme. First we have Daria's death left unresolved for the sake of peace. Now we have Sasha's death to be decided. What stung me bad is how Niccolo truly did love Sasha and how much she meant to him. She gave him life to live through hell. I don't know if this is true, but supposedly Sasha wasn't trying to say meat as her final word. Rather, it's Niccolo. Nico is meat in Japanese. She was one syllable away before her final breath gave out. That's downright sad. It's harder to hold back when seeing her one more time through Niccolo's words. Damn it, they were a pair? I'm actually torn. How can I argue against that? I really like what Isayama is doing with Gabi's development. The lessons she has to learn are hard, but necessary. In this moment, it's fear of what devils are about to do. The irony twist is her so-called people of righteousness is the one out for vengeance. To be honest, I did feel bad for her. Yes, she has said and done idiotic things, including in this chapter, but she has been living in fear and lies, so I can't fault her too much. Being a child does help as well, considering the limitation of a mindset. The expression of things coming to an end does strike me. It's Mr. Braun's call now, wielding the knife to decide her fate. If there's anyone that you can say the best man of the chapter is undoubtedly Mr. Braun. That speech about him and his daughter in the forest is teary. Looking at young Sasha is sad enough. The two bonding together like a family is even sadder. The speech is about a child being let go to roam around the forest, protecting, fighting, and eventually die. They live in the forest for a long time. It was then he let her go out of the forest. Only the world was a giant forest. The striking point is how it ties in to the whole theme of the chapter. Mr. Braun hands over the knife to his wife to say he will not kill Gabi for revenge. It's his responsible for letting Sasha die out in the forest. Although it's responsible for their children's fate, if they are let go out of the forest, there is hope for a greater future. Otherwise, history will repeat itself. This is a deep metaphor for act of cycle. If one gets revenge, another will arrive, then another, and another. Where does it end? If one leaves, a change will be made. It's unbelievable how Mr. Bros now appears with more panel time, and already he's the man of the hour. Next time I watch season 2, I would cheer like hell when he's on screen. I'm glad for Niccolo decided to let go of his darkest desire and give in the chance to move away. Otherwise, it could have ended awfully. Still, I feel bad for him. As powerful that scene was, I find the next scene powerful in his own way. Seeing Mikasa treating Gabi is a sight for sore eyes. After what just happened, Gabi is overwhelmed, finally questioning the devils. Do they not hate her? That simple question holds tons of weight. It's the wake-up call. She truly needed it. To add more to it, a sudden attack emerged from behind, but Mikasa quickly stops it. To Gabi's surprise, it's Kaya, the same child who protected her identity and helped her to fit into the family. Moment like this always gets me. One moment a friend, another moment an enemy. It reminds me of Avatar: The Last Airbender, whereas Zuko fits in well with the villagers. But once his identity is revealed, everyone hates him in a single flip of a switch. That one panel shot with Mikasa stopping Kaya from stabbing while holding Gabi tightly is a great shot. A former friend trying to kill a newfound enemy that is protected by thought to be enemy. Poetic. This scene was needed to show how life can be unpredictable at times. Nothing is set in stone. Gabi has to see it for herself, and rightfully so. She basically got a taste of broken friendship. What's more is she actually feels remorse, seeing Kaya in tears and anger open her eyes to see the damage she has caused. To recite Mr. Brawl's words, she must leave that forest. Otherwise, she's doomed to be part of the endless cycle. Isayama is really doing a hell of a job. I'm really intrigued by this development. But he has one more to throw in. The secret of the wine is revealed. It's not poison as some, including me, predicted it. It's worse. It's Zeke's spinal fluid. Holy crap. This really stunned me. This is why build-up, even if it halts the action, can raise the shock factor really high. This means the higher-ups are screwed. All it takes is Zeke's roar, and they're done. I guess Rogue and others are going to explode after all. This would mean Zeke really is planning behind their back. Unless the faction knows about it as well, which is likely. This is crazy, the cruel twist they're going to get. However, and sadly, Falco is now part of the factor as well. When he got smashed by the wine bottle, some part went into his mouth, which essentially means he drank some. Because of it, he will be victimized with the rest. Gabi wasn't there to hear it, but this will break her if she knows his fate. Even worse, Reiner may lose his cool if he loses his sole purpose to live. My God, the setup is so good right now, I don't know what to think. Bottom line, this chapter was great. The build-up continues to be compelling and intriguing with pieces here and there to consider over. All key moments and segments in the restaurant were exhilarating and emotional. Plenty of strong moments left me awed and inspired. Mr. Brawls is practically MVP by a large margin, but others did well in their role. The ending revelation was shocking, leaving the future chapters even more anticipating. The setup has been stellar and is growing more and more. Whatever it leads to is going to be a hell that everyone will remember. And that will do it for the review. I hope you enjoyed this one. This series is full of suspense and questions, and I'm enjoying every moment of it. What do you think of the chapter? Is Falco truly is done now that he has drank the wine that has Zeke's spinal fluid? Is there a way to remove that before the time comes? Share your thoughts in the comment section. If you like this and want more of this, subscribe to my channel and my world will be yours to stay. Until next time, take care.